let me just say this real quick. If you're a pro, if you're an amateur, no matter where you are in mentalism, if you don't have this book, buy it. It's as simple as this. Buy it. If you have Corinda, if you have Anman, buy this book. You need it.
I remember waiting for each new book in the color series to come out so that you could be sure you had the complete set. For a while you couldn't get any of them anymore when they were out of print, and people were paying hundreds of dollars per copy for the different parts of Max's color series.
Hi, this is Doc Hilford, and I don't want to tell you anything about PRISM, because PRISM should have never been published. PRISM has way too much good material that you can use. PRISM, the greatest thing about those booklets was trying to ferret them out from book sales and auctions, and eventually, if you were lucky, you would find one of the original blue books of Mentalism, and you knew it was real because the staples were rusty. And then later you might get a red one, oh man, and then the collection would grow, and like priceless baseball cards, you had to trade to get the right one.
My name is Carl Chrisman. PRISM by Max Maven was one of the best books I read about mentalism. I was just getting started. It gave me a great foundation for what's out there. He covered all sorts of different effects, different styles, and he took magic, which I was already familiar with, but it gave it a nice mentalist flair, and I could see the real impact it would have. You could actually move audiences with a lot of what he came up with, so I'd highly recommend it.
And I would not be the entertainer I am today. In his Red Book of Mentalism, the introduction alone is worth the price of the entire series.
The one thing I remember from this book more than anything else is how much it made me hate Max Maven, because he wrote these amazing effects when he was still in his 20s. One of the most powerful books out there on mentalism, PRISM by Max Maven.
You can't go wrong spending the time to look at each item in PRISM and understanding it not only in the context of when it was written, but the simple things you could do to make it feel fresh for even today's audiences.
Hi guys, Steve Valentine here. I'm a little bit pissed off because I just heard that Penguin is re-releasing Max Maven's PRISM. This is my third copy because I had the original color series when I was in my teens, color series of Mentalism. And yeah, I'm a little bit pissed off because the material in this is so good. I always wanted to keep it to myself. And I know that's something that a lot of people say, you know, like this shouldn't be published, or I want to keep this to myself. But look, the reality is when I was a teenager and I was working in Europe and I had to do 10 shows in 2 weeks, this book or these books saved my life. And I can tell you off the top of my head, I performed tricks, routines like Desire, Chaos, Nucleus, Four-Sided Triangle, Elemental. I mean, there was Middle Telepathy. I used that one a lot. And I could just look at the contents of the book and I can tell you. Let me see now. Here we go. Let's have a look. We've got, yes, Desire, which I did for a room of 1,000 people, which was quite something. And then Geometric Coin was fun. Production, a very funny idea. Four-Sided Triangle. It's a simple card trick, but man, you can close a mental show with that. Disposable color, which is something that I use to this day. And it's one of those things you can drop in anywhere in your mental show. And when it hits, and when it doesn't, no one knows. There's Vision Version and Scrabble, and then Destiny. Destiny, the simplest card trick in the world, no sleight of hand, and yet it's all out of your hands, and it's a miracle. Nucleus, I did a whole thing on Magic on the Go about Nucleus because it's I think the best presentation and method for the magnetized cards. And then you've got the Mind's Eye deck. Well, that was genius, the idea of a stacked deck that you can shuffle genuinely. What? That's crazy. Then there's Window Shopper. I did that one. Armchair Bowler. Lovely presentation for Armchair Bowler. Modern Dart. Then there's One Hand Clapping. I really liked French Active. Triangle. So, I mean, these are these are tricks and routines, but not just routines. Max gives you the full, or gave me when I was a kid, the structure and the presentation and how to sell it and how to build. And there's also chapters that are just essays and talks and thoughts about the presentation of mentalism and where we are in the world and how we do this for regular people. So it's a brilliant, brilliant book. I'm thrilled that they're re-releasing this. I always say every time I see Max, thank you for putting out these books, because they really did save my life. So if you haven't read these, you've got a treat, and get it while you can. Okay.